photograph, madam.
Photographs serve as timeless windows into the past, capturing fleeting moments, emotions, and milestones. They freeze history's essence, preserving stories, cultures, and evolution for future generations. These visual narratives transcend time, allowing us to relive, reflect, and learn from the rich tapestry of the human existence one frame at a time. But today, we'll be knocking the dust off of some of time's more weird and strange photos. It's going to be a ride of historical proportion. Join us as we have a look at some of the most weird and bizarre vintage photos from history. Number 67. Man juggling his own head. The picture portrayed here shows how manipulation could best be done in ancient times. It was titled Man Juggling His Own Head and taken in 1880 by St. Thomas de Aquin Photography Studio. Number 66. Man with Hole in His Head. Jacob Miller was a Civil War veteran who was shot by a Confederate soldier during the Battle of Chickamauga in September of 1863. 17 years later, a fragment of that very bullet popped out from his head wound, and another 31 years later, 2 more pieces of lead fell out. Jacob Miller lived quite the remarkable life, eventually passing away in January of 1917 at the age of 88. Number 65. 550-pound diving suit. The genius behind this suit was J.S. Perez, and he was eager to show off his creation at the Olympia Shipping Exhibition in London. The rust-resistant diving suit would be made from stay-bright silver steel and weighed a whopping 550 pounds, but the most impressive part, it could dive down to a depth of 650 feet. Number 64. Johnny Eck. Actor Johnny Eck, who was born with an underdeveloped lower torso, poses for a promotional photo for the famous movie Freaks in 1932. Number 63. Colin Evans. Welsh spiritualist Colin Evans feigns levitation by jumping up and down in total darkness and filming himself with an infrared camera in London in 1939. Number 62. Igor Gouzenko. This photo shows Soviet cryptographer Igor Gouzenko in 1945. He hid his face in the photo for an interview with Sol Pet from the Associated Press. He had worked with the Soviet embassy in Ottawa and fled to the West in 1945. He brought more than 100 classified documents and information about the Soviet spy network in Canada. 29 spies would be arrested and convicted afterwards. He would receive an impressive reward, a mansion, and political asylum. Number 61. An armed horse. German soldiers proudly stand by a horse with special frame. This frame was made to carry a captured Russian Maxim M1910 machine gun, along with its wheeled mount and ammo box. Number 60. Bird photographers. Imagine pigeons with tiny cameras strapped to them. A man named Julius Neubronner from Germany came up with the idea before and during the war. These clever birds would snap aerial photos when a timer clicked the camera's shutter. It was quite the bird's eye view. Number 59. Military dog. Sergeant Stubby, a Boston Bull Terrier, transformed from a mascot to a combat hero in World War I. He developed a gas sensitivity after being injured, which helped him to warn soldiers of danger. Stubby had found wounded soldiers, caught a German spy, and even became the first dog to be ranked in the U.S. Armed Forces, earning numerous decorations for bravery in 17 battles, despite having 2 wounds. Number 58. A brave cat. This feline mascot of the light cruiser HMAS Encounter, peering from the muzzle of a 6-inch gun. Horse pulling a horse. In Belgium, after the Battle of Helene, a surviving horse is used in the removal of dead horses killed in the conflict in 1914. Number 56. Marcia Pinkenfield. Meet Marcia Pinkenfield, just 6 months old, who achieved something truly extraordinary in 1927. She would be crowned the most beautiful child in all of America. Number 55. French man with a new face. In 1918, during the First World War, a French soldier whose face had been terribly injured was given a special mask. This mask was created by Anna Coleman Ladd at the American Red Cross studio, and it was a remarkable effort to help him regain his appearance and confidence. Number 54. Sculpted faces. In the first row, you can see casts made directly from the soldiers' damaged faces, capturing their initial condition. In the second row, those casts have been transformed with the skilled hands of Anna Coleman Ladd, who sculpted them to restore the soldier's appearance. It's a before and after transformation that's truly remarkable. Number 53. Before and after. Here's a before and after comparison with the mask on. During the war, a soldier's face was the most exposed and vulnerable part of his body. When peering over a trench, it was the part that was most likely to be targeted by enemy fire. Number 52. Weird medicine practices. Dr. Hines makes an injection of fluids taken from a live hair to a person, which together with ultraviolet radiation and gymnastics would lead to rejuvenation in Berlin of 1925. Number 51. The invisible machine. The Hungarian engineer Stefan nailed near the machine. He invented supposedly made people and inanimate objects invisible. 1935. Number 50. Al Johnson. American singer Al Johnson portraying a black man on the set of the movie Bar of Wonders, 1934. Number 49. Photo of a Michelin orchestra. A novel hour of entertainment was recently presented to the radio audience of the nation with the inauguration of the Michelin Hour, presented by the rubber tire manufacturing concern. The orchestra's members are attired in grotesque fashion, as shown above. Number 48. Photo of armored cars. This photo, titled Ready for Action, shows forces in Vienna that have been mobilized in order to get ready for immediate action. Armored cars are patrolling the main streets in case of a disturbance. Number 47. Photo of Ivan Unger and Gladys Roy. Ivan Unger, a member of the Flying Black Gnats, and Gladys Roy are shown playing tennis on the wings of an airplane in flight. Number 46. Photo of Juanita Yover and Louis Benjamin. Juanita Yover takes a ride strapped to the wings of her boyfriend, stunt pilot Louis Benjamin's Tiger Moth biplane, 1962. Number 45. Photo of grape celebration. Burbank, California, celebrating the harvesting of California's 1930 grape crop, one of the largest on record, Society Girls of Burbank staged their open-air festival in the famous McClure Vineyards, during which they crowned the 1930 Queen of the Vineyards to rule over the yield. Photos show Wilma Smith buried in grapes, eating a sample. Number 44. Photo of people partying. 3 late 1920s-era cars and about 10 people apparently camping or picnicking perilously near the edge of a river canyon in Washington state. Number 43. Photo of physics demonstration. Dumont engineer James A. Craig demonstrates a simple dialing procedure on a completely automatic dial-direct mobile two-way radio telephone system in Clifton, New Jersey on March the 28th of 1957. The system, presently used by the Richmond Radio Telephone Service Incorporated, is manufactured by Allen B. Dumont Laboratories Incorporated and is the first radio telephone equipment to allow phone calls to and from vehicles to be relayed completely unattended through local telephone companies. Number 42. Photo of Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla, naturalized American physicist, sitting in his Colorado Springs laboratory with his magnifying transmitter in 1899. Number 41. Photo of Beth Pitt. Surprised spectators look on in amazement as Miss Beth Pitt takes her pet fawn star message for a walk in Midtown New York on November the 16th of 1942. Earlier in the day, she had paid a fine of $2 in court for letting her pet to roam free in Central Park. Number 40. Sikorsky R-5 helicopter. An Army Sikorsky R-5 helicopter undergoing record trials demonstrates its lifting power by carrying 17 persons and a pilot aloft as female onlookers wave in Bridgeport, Connecticut on January the 10th of 1946. During the tests, records were claimed for altitude, speed, and both altitude and speed with payload. Number 39. Richard Byrd. Commander Richard Byrd, wearing a specially designed leather helmet and mask used during his flight from Spitsbergen to the North Pole and back. Commander Byrd and pilot Floyd Bennett used a Fokker plane, making the trip of 1,360 miles in little more than 15 hours. Number 38. Photo of smiling humanoid mice. The uniform mob of smiling humanoid mice seen here were gathered for an early meeting of the Mickey Mouse Club in Ocean Park, California, circa 1930. Number 37. Photo of Xander's horse simulation machine. Xander's horse simulation machine. The machine was a huge hit because you didn't really have to do anything but sit in a chair and burn away the fat. Number 36. Photo of how a mule is being unloaded. Unloading a mule in Alexandria, Egypt in 1915. The escalating warfare drove Britain and France to import horses and mules from overseas by the hundreds of thousands. Vulnerable transport ships were frequent targets of the German Navy, sending thousands of animals to the bottom of the sea. Number 35. Photo of an Indian elephant. An Indian elephant from the Hamburg Zoo is used by Germans in France to help move tree trunks in 1915. As the war dragged on, beasts of burden became scarce in Germany, and some circus and zoo animals were requisitioned for army use. Number 35. Photos of a homing pigeon. These homing pigeons are doing much to save the lives of the boys in France. They act as efficient messengers and dispatch bearers, not only from division to division, but from the trenches to the rear, but also are used by our aviators to report back the results of their observation. Number 33. Photo of two soldiers with motorbikes. Two soldiers with motorbikes, each with a wicker basket strapped to his back. A third man is putting a pigeon in one of the baskets. In the background, there are two mobile pigeon lofts and a number of tents. The soldier in the middle has the grenade badge of the Royal Engineers over the chevrons, which show he is a sergeant. Number 32. Photo of two soldiers and a carrier pigeon. A message is attached to a carrier pigeon by British troops on the Western Front, 1917. One of France's homing pigeons, named Cher Ami, was awarded the French Award for heroic service during 12 important messages during the Battle of Verdun. Number 31. Australian Camel Corps going into action at Sharia near Beersheba in December of 1917. Number 30. Photos of a dog handler and messenger dog. A dog handler reads a message brought by a messenger dog who had just swum across a canal in France during World War I. Number 29. Photos of horses gathered for war. Horses requisitioned for the war effort in Paris, France, circa 1915. Farmers and families on the home front endured great hardship when their best horses were taken for use in the war. Number 28. Photo of a war aftermath. Dead horses and a broken cart on a road, troops in the distance, Belgium, 1917. Horses meant power and agility, hauling weaponry, equipment, and personnel, and were targeted by enemy troops to weaken the other side, or were captured to be put in use by a different army. Number 27. Photo of three different animal species at work. War animals carrying war animals. At a carrier pigeon communication school in Belgium, a dispatch dog fitted with a pigeon basket for transporting carrier pigeons to the front line. Number 26. The four sloping legs of the Eiffel Tower undergo construction in 1887 at the Champ de Mars in Paris. Civil engineer Gustave Eiffel designed the unique iron tower as a temporary structure for the Centennial Exposition of 1889. Instead of being demolished, it became a permanent fixture and a symbol of the city. Number 25. Photo of huge flame from oil well. 1928. Gigantic flame and no smoke. A furious pillar of fire from an oil well causes tremendous losses at Santa Fe Springs, California. The terrific blaze following the blow in the Bellevue No. 1 well in a fabulous rich field. The intense heat has spread destruction to adjacent derricks, and the loss has already reached hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is the second severe fire in the field. Number 24. Louis Armstrong at the Sphinx. January 28th of 1961, Pyramids of Giza, Egypt. American jazz trumpeter Louis Armstrong plays the trumpet while his wife sits listening, with the Sphinx and one of the pyramids behind her during a visit to the pyramids at Giza. Number 23. Photo of Humpy Highway. Los Angeles, California, circa 1929. This looks more like the Loop. Here's a humpy highway for meandering motorists. It was designed and built by Harry Rocks in Los Angeles, who calls it an auto thriller, and its unique construction affords a novel trip of 2,400 feet for the autoist who drives his car over its undulating surface. It is shaped like a U and supports a speed of 40 miles an hour, although some of the humps are 10 feet high. This general view of the highways shows the size and construction of this auto thriller. Number 22. Bizarre photo of engineers. May 8, 1941, New York, LaGuardia Field. No, these are not men from Mars, but TWA mechanics and inspectors with propeller hub caps over their heads as they go about spring overhauling chores on the giant transport planes at the airport. Number 21. Photo of professional frogman. Professional frogman Courtney Brown tows a 55-foot scale model of the sunken liner Titanic during work on the film Raise the Titanic, released in 1980. The screen version of the best-selling novel by Clive Cussler dramatizes an attempt to raise the 46,000-ton wreckage of the Titanic, which is 2.5 miles down on the floor of the North Atlantic. The model is described as an exact replica, costing $5 million. This replica ship still exists, rusting in bushes beside a water tank at the Malta Film Studios, visible on Google Maps. Number 20. Photo of Monkey Baker. May the 27th of 1959, Pensacola, Florida, Monkey Baker, an American-born squirrel monkey, was one of the 2 monkeys which traveled in the nose cone of the Jupiter Intermediate Range Ballistic Missile launched by the United States Army at the Atlantic Missile Range. The monkeys participated in a series of biomedical experiments, which also included tests on certain animal and vegetable matter in support of the National Aeronautic and Space Administration space programs. Number 19. Photo of a 2-horned listening device. A 2-horn listening device in use at Bowling Field in Washington, D.C. in 1921, used to detect distant aircraft before the advent of radar. Number 18. Photo of Russian space dog. November the 3rd of 1957, Moscow, Russia. Called an experienced astronaut, this Russian space dog poses in its snug-fitting spacesuit with a transparent space helmet beside it. Meanwhile, the newly launched Soviet satellite Sputnik 2 circles the Earth, carrying what is reported to be a female husky dog, the first living being to roam space. Number 17. Photo of Alvin Kelly. Alvin Shipwreck Kelly celebrates Friday the 13th in October of 1939 by standing on his head on a board stuck out from the 54th floor of the Channon Building and dunking donuts over Manhattan. Number 16. Photo of a woman before World War II. A woman tests a stroller intended to be resistant to gas attacks in England in 1938, not long before the outbreak of World War II. Number 15. Photo of a French neurologist. In this photo, we see a French neurologist carrying out an experiment in electrophysiology by triggering a subject's muscles with the electric probes in order to produce a given facial expression circa mid-19th century. Number 14. Photo of the human nervous system. No one knows for sure why a hospital cleaning lady named Harriet Cole decided to donate her body to science, but her amazing contribution, her nervous system, lives on to this day. Number 13. Ku Klux Klan members in Canyon City. In April of 1926, dozens of Ku Klux Klan members in a city in Colorado walked down Main Street enjoying some fun on a traveling carnival's Ferris wheel. There, they posed for a photo at the carnival owner's insistence, and a story about it appeared on the front page of the local newspaper the next day. Number 12. Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler poses in lederhosen circa 1930s. Hitler had this photo, and several others, banned because in his opinion they undermined his dignity. The photo surfaced again after an Allied soldier found copies of them in a German home in 1945. Number 11. The largest horse. One of the largest horses in history, Brooklyn Supreme, stood 6'6" and weighed in at 3,200 pounds during the 1930s. Number 10. Old yet firing. A 106-year-old woman sits in front of her home guarding it with a rifle in a village near the city of Goris in southern Armenia in 1990. Armed conflicts were taking place in and around a nearby area that was claimed by Armenia. Number 9. Babies in cages. For a brief period in the 1930s, mothers in London kept their babies in cages, suspended outside their windows to give them fresh air. Miraculously, No injuries or deaths were ever reported. Number 8. Accident scalping. Robert McGee was left permanently scarred after surviving a scalping at the hands of the Sioux tribe in 1864 when he was just a 13-year-old orphan. Number 7. Chaos in Stockholm. Vehicles and pedestrians stand in chaos in Stockholm, Sweden on September the 3rd of 1967, the day that the country switched from driving on the left side of the road to the right. Number 6. Beautiful Leg Contest. Participants in the Beautiful Leg Contest wear pillowcases over their heads so that the judges can see only their legs. Palisades Amusement Park, New Jersey, 1951. Number 5. Big Mary. For years, Big Mary worked for the Sparks world-famous show's traveling circus, where she entertained people from coast to coast. That all came to a crashing halt in 1916 when the town of Irwin, Tennessee arrested Mary for murdering a trainer who beat her with a hook. They later hanged her from a crane in front of a crowd of spectators. Number 4. Plastic headgears. Women wear plastic headgear intended to protect themselves from snowstorms in Montreal, 1939. Number 3. Lapombo. A woman from the Democratic Republic of the Congo's Mengbetu tribe holds her child circa 1929 to 1937. The tribe once practiced Lapombo, a tradition in which a baby's head was wrapped tightly with a cloth in order to achieve an elongated skull, believed to be a mark of beauty. Number 2. The Hindenburg. The Hindenburg is a German airship with swastikas all over it, flying over New York City on the afternoon of May the 6th of 1937, a few hours before its historic fiery crash in Manchester Township, New Jersey. Number 1. Japanese military invention. Japanese Emperor Hirohito inspects his military's acoustic aircraft locators used to detect planes by the sounds of their engines in the days before radar, sometime prior to the ending of World War II. Which of these bizarre clips had you wondering in surprise? Let us know in the comments section down below.